everyone, how are you? I hope you are well. Since I last vlogged properly, we have had an addition to the family. Max is now with us. And earlier in the year, I saw a campaign on Instagram that was #ThankYouMidwife. I was compelled to get involved and to share my midwife journey and why I feel so grateful to the midwives that have been with us. And Pampers are running that again, and I thought, you know what? I haven't spoken about Max's birth yet, so why don't I sit down and use that campaign to kind of share my birth story, but also why I think the midwives that have been with me have been a key element into why my births have gone so well, and why I felt so safe and secure, and no matter the outcome, I think I would have really valued their input into bringing any of my children into the world. Let's go back, people, let's go back. The night was the 23rd of August, and I'd had a sweep that day actually, because I was going to be induced the following week because I had some funny levels of my bile acid. So basically we kind of wanted to nudge my body a little bit into getting things moving. So I'd had a sweep that day, came home, and I just had a feeling that things were about to start. Literally just seconds before we were going to put the boys to bed and go upstairs and do the whole bedtime routine, Buddy fell over and cut his head so severely that it was literally like he'd been shot in the head. This will lead on to the birthday story, don't worry. And we've not really spoken about it, just because there's been so much going on, but you'll see the photos of Buddy at the moment. He's got this massive scar on his head, and he hit the table so hard that we had to literally rush him to A&E, and he had to have steri strips. There were thoughts at the time that he might have to have stitches, and it was all quite traumatic. But I must say, he was amazing. Like, Buddy is so unfazed about stuff in life, and he's just, you know, he was brilliant. He cried initially, and then as soon as the nurses were with him, he was brilliant. But while we were there by his bed, you know, blood everywhere still, I felt my first contraction. Great timing, great timing. I was just a bit like, okay, this is happening. I might go into like at least run a hospital. But he got sorted. He had steri strips, and they said to us that he might need to go and get, well, he would need to go the following day to a different hospital to get stitched, or at least to be seen by plastics so they could assess him properly. So we brought him home, and Tom's mum and dad were with us by then because they'd come to get Buzz from the hospital, but we were literally home like 10 minutes after them. Anyway, we sent them home because I just didn't know what was going to happen, and I just thought, you know what, I'll get into bed with Buddy, calm him, like settle him, and then we'll just sort of see. We'll just see. And then it got to about 10:30, 10:30, and I thought, you know what, actually, things are happening. Let's get your mum and dad here. They can stay here, settle, and then if we need to go in the night, we can. So they got here probably about an hour later, and things were definitely moving. And it was all contractions really. It wasn't, my ball wasn't gone, it was contractions. So I was kind of like just bouncing my ball and breathing and things like that. And about 12:30 we called maybe midnight we called the hospital, and we're just like, well, this is happening. And because Buddy arrived so quickly, so second labour, just, you know, I got into hospital and he was there 15 minutes later. They just said, come in, especially since you've had a sweep, you know what you're looking out for when you're on your third, so come in and we'll assess you. So I went in, and it took me so long to get from the car to the hospital, longer than I did before, you know, just calmly kind of like breathing, and although the contractions by that point had kind of stretched, they hadn't slowed down, they were just a bit erratic. Sometimes it was 7 minutes, then 5 minutes, then 3 minutes, like between each one. So it kind of, I guess, taken a step back, which I've heard is very common for third pregnancies, but I kind of tried to block that in my mind because I just thought that's not helpful, that's not helpful for my mind, I think that. So got into the hospital, and I was examined, which I'm happy to be examined. I know I do hypnobirthing, but I am happy to be examined. The midwives know what they're doing, I trust them. For me personally, I like to know what's going on, and I like to lean on that medical support and those women who know all about this far more than I do. And the midwives were absolutely lovely, examined me. I was 2 centimetres. 2 centimetres. I was like, no, but they did say that because Buddy had happened so quickly. I was told when I went in with Buddy that I was 6 centimetres, and then literally 50 minutes later he was there. So I can dilate very, very quickly, and so I stayed there, got in the pool. Oh no, I didn't get in the pool first of all. I literally, the pool was running, so it was nice having some water in the background. And the midwives just left us to it while I sort of bounced on the ball a bit and rolled around, watched some comedy. I kind of flitted between two things. Listening to hypnobirthing and kind of zoning out. I actually napped quite a lot and watching the Comedy Roadshow. I think we watched so many episodes of that this time round. And it got to about 4 in the morning and they examined again. And there wasn't really much movement. I was like, that's fine. And maybe an extra centimetre. Yeah, nothing major. I think I was looking for major and nothing major had happened. So I was like, fine. But you know what? I remember really vividly, really smiling at the midwives. And for me, like the contractions, and I call them contractions even though other people doing hypnobirthing will call them surges. But then when they're gone, I felt fine, absolutely fine. And actually the only thing that was uncomfortable the whole way through this labour, this birthing experience was a throbbing back pain. That was the most uncomfortable thing actually, not the tummy muscles or anything that was going on in the front, it was the back. And actually, as we will find out later on, basically I got to midday the following day and Rasheen, who had delivered Buddy, was with us, and so she'd come on shift, which was really, really special to have her there. So my other 2 midwives have left, and which is weird actually, kind of going, we'll see you later, but nice, you're in your zone anyway, so I wasn't feeling like, oh please stay with me. But Rasheen came on, and at midday she examined me and I was 6 centimetres. I was like, okay, not where I thought I would be, but okay. And I'd been in the pool quite a lot by this point, and you know what? Being in warm water, hot water is just so lovely, and for my muscles just kind of go, ah. And I did have some urges to kind of, you know, that was sending things down, but you know, I was examined and I was 6 centimetres, so my body was just kind of remembering things. I think it must have muscle memory or just doing things. I'm very much like, just go with it, just what's going on, go with it. I did fall asleep in the pool for quite a while, which I wasn't sure I didn't even know you could do that. I must have just zoned out a little bit. Midday, Rasheen examined me and I was 6 centimetres. So I was like, okay. 2 hours later she came in, she was like, do you want me to examine you? I was like, yeah. And I was 6 centimetres still. So what we'd found out basically is that where Max had his head, and he'd been in the same position basically for about the last 10 weeks of pregnancy, his head was down, but it was slightly on the diagonal, which is why I could feel so much pain in my back as well, because obviously where his feet were, that was what was going on. And so because he was at a slightly dodgy angle, it just meant that he wasn't being able to calm down in the way that he should. And so Rasheen said to me, and this is amazing midwifery skills, I think. She said, look, you can keep going, and that's absolutely fine. You can keep doing what you're doing. You're fine. You're not in distress. Baby's not in distress. You're calm, and just see what happens. But you could get tired later on, or we could break your waters because my waters aren't gone, and then we can just go from there. And I just thought, you know what? I don't want in an hour to kind of be in the same position, and let's just go for it. So I just said, let's break my waters and see what happens. Not the most comfortable of things, especially when you have a contraction midway through, but it was all fine, and you know, it was fine. Rasheen was wonderful, and literally after she did that, everything got more intense, and I got straight into the pool, put on my hypnobirthing. Rasheen was just sort of in there, you know, taking her notes, really calm, really peaceful. Tom was in there eating his jelly babies, and just being nice and calm with me, and everything. I say calm all the time, calm, calm, calm. I must have like completely zoned out and fallen asleep, because literally, so that was 2:30 by the time my waters broke, and then I literally had the same sensation that I did with Buddy, where my body just took over, like something was happening, and my body literally just did this thing where it birthed the baby for me. Like literally, I didn't have to do no pushing, or like, obviously you are like, oh. The baby just arrived, and I've got to say, actually, halfway through the day, I did realise that I was kind of doing my down breathing a little bit wrong, and I was only sending breath down to here, and I was holding on to tension, which is why I think it was a little bit more uncomfortable than what it should have been. And I literally, around 11 o'clock that day, just kind of went, oh, my breath. let's sort this out. And from then on, actually, it was a little bit more comfortable because of where the breath was going and stuff. And by then, actually, we had heard that Buddy had gone to plastics and that they were happy with their stereo strip. So I think that was a massive load off my mind. I don't think I would have given birth not knowing that he was okay, in a weird sort of mental capacity kind of way. So anyway, the baby arrived, Max arrived in the water. And Tom usually is the first one to kind of see the baby and tell me where the baby is. And I don't know what came over me, but I literally scooped him up, and actually the cord was wrapped slightly around his neck as well. So there was a little bit of a... Regine had to help us kind of take the cord from his neck just, you know, before he came up out the water. That was probably a really scary moment, actually, but fine. It was seconds, and then he was on my chest, and I looked before Tom even had a chance to tell me it's a boy. It was just so wonderful to have him on me, and to have the help of Regine in the room, the same lady that helped me deliver Buddy. And yeah, I don't know what that experience would have been like without midwives there, but I know that they were a massive part of me having such a great experience and feeling safe and feeling like no matter what, actually, I would trust their judgment. Because it is something they do every single day. I held them in the pool for ages, and then it was time to deliver my placenta, so I got out, and I never knew that before actually having birth, like having children, that you birth your baby and then you birth the placenta. I had no idea. To be honest, I don't even think I knew what a placenta was before I fell pregnant. I had my toast and tea in the room, while they're doing all the things that they need to do with baby and with me. And then when we go down to the room, we have had a burger each time and a Coke. I don't know why, I never drink Coke normally, but after giving birth and doing all that, I'm like, Coke, I want the sugar, give me the sugar rush. And yeah, and we were literally wiped out then, because obviously we hadn't been asleep for quite a long time by then, and we all slept really, really well. And then when we woke up the following morning, we just wanted to go home. We wanted to go home and introduce Max to his big brothers. So I guess that's my birthing story. It's kind of here, there and everywhere. And I've got to say, the reason why I felt so compelled to get involved with the campaign earlier in the year, even though I wasn't asked to by Pampers, is because they showed statistics of the fact that 1 in 3 midwives feel undervalued, or unappreciated is the correct word. And I just thought, wow, like, I can't believe that. You know, no matter how you give birth, they're a huge part of bringing life into the world, and I will be eternally thankful and grateful. So I would hate for any of my midwives to feel unappreciated. So to anyone who's ever helped me in any part of the journey, whether that's just signing papers and getting me into the hospital, or, you know, whatever, been a breastfeeding support, I mean, anything like that, I'm just truly thankful. Yeah, I don't know whether I could have done it without you, but I wouldn't want to try. Oh God, that made me emotional. New mummy hormones. So Pampers are obviously helping to spread the love. So I would love you to share in the comments below your experiences with midwives and your thank you story, because I think it's such a lovely thing to do. And over on Instagram, you can tag Pampers. I'll put all the details below, but for every 1,000 shares over on Instagram, Pampers are making over a staff room for midwives, which is brilliant. And also Pillow and Faith has also teamed up with Pampers, along with the Pampers #thank you midwife choir. They have recorded a special version of a Silent Night, and for every download they are donating £1 to midwives in need. I will link all the details below. I'll write that all out and all the links that are necessary. But thank you, Pampers, for doing this for midwives. I think it's so incredibly important to thank the people who literally bring life into the world. They help bring life, and they must see so many difficult things as well. And I think third time round, I'm even more grateful than ever that I have 3 healthy babies. So thank you very, very much. Right, I shall see you later. Bye.